I'm Jennifer Latzke. I'm an associate editor with High Plains Journal in Dodge City, Kansas. I'm here today with Justin Gilpin, CEO of Kansas Wheat. Thanks for coming out today, Justin.
It's good to be with you, Jenny.
Good. We are here at Wheat Solutions, an event that we're putting on with Indigo, and today you had some really interesting news for us. It sounds like now is finally the time for our farmers that have been producing quality wheat all these years to finally capture the value of the quality, not only the quantity that they're producing.
Well, I appreciated the opportunity to be able to talk to the group today. It's really a good program, and being able to start off the program by talking a little bit about what's going on in the world and the world market situation. I think it's really important for Kansas wheat farmers to understand where we're at in that world situation with declining production in Europe and Russia right now. The world needing to come to the United States and to Kansas specifically about looking to buy hard red winter wheat. And this year, the quality of the hard red winter wheat crop, not just in Kansas, but throughout the southern plains and up into the northern plains, is one of the best, highest quality hard red winter wheat crops we've had in quite a while. And so basis levels have reflected that from being pretty strong and helping out on our cash price somewhat. But as we go to market that to our export customers, being able to tell that story of a good quality hard red winter wheat crop out of Kansas, out of the United States, is really going to be beneficial for us as we go into the end of the year and at the beginning of the new year as we look to increase our hard red winter wheat exports.
You know, as the daughter of a wheat farmer and a granddaughter of a wheat farmer, I know our guys produce the top quality that they possibly can. It's a sense of pride for them to come in at harvest with quality wheat to put in the bin, and for us to now have the opportunity to capture that value, that's exciting.
It is. And this year it's a combination of genetics and management, right? We've actually, over the last decade, we've seen a step change happen in the genetics and the varieties that are available to our farmers. If you look at just from the private companies and what's available from the universities, just our varieties are very resilient. They're better yielding. Our breeders have done a heck of a job. Now, what we're combining that with is management practices, where we're seeing our growers manage the crop a little more intensively than what they used to with wheat maybe 20 years ago. And so that combination of improved genetics, improved management, being able to weather the difficult situation that we had this year and still come out with a decent crop that's a very high quality crop that we have to sell to our customers domestically, but then also export around the world. It's going to be hopefully a pretty exciting year as we get close to the end of the year.
Good. You mentioned genetics, and I just got to say, I am tickled pink to finally be able to report that we have a published wheat genome, complete genome of the bred wheat. And Kansas led the way in this effort, right?
Well, that's what I try to tell everybody. I want to remind people the significance of, when they hear that story, the significance that Kansas wheat farmers played to that story. The fact that in 2005, Kansas wheat farmers, through the Kansas Wheat Commission, in a meeting out in Garden City, were the first ones to really step up and say, even though the rest of the world says sequencing a bred wheat genome, because of its size, being 5 times larger than the human genome, is something that can't be done. Farmers in Kansas stood up and said, no, we believe in this effort. We believe that it's not just something that can be done. We believe that we have an obligation to get it done for our future farmers, for our next generation, and being able to make advancements. And to see 13 years later, to see that effort that started in Kansas come to fruition and get finished, and now knowing what outcomes are going to come from that, it's exciting for the world, it's exciting for the wheat industry, but for Kansas, it's something we ought to take a sense of pride in.
Kansas leads the way. That's the reason why we continue to be the breadbasket of not just America, but of the world, I like to say. Well, speaking of world politics and world issues, we had some big news coming out of D.C. this week, and part of Kansas Wheat's other entity, Kansas Association of Wheat Growers, is policy and politics and such. What happened in D.C.?
Well, it's certainly been a lot of headlines and a busy week coming out of D.C. A lot of eyes are on federal policy with what's happening right now, and probably first and foremost what we've been working on over the last year, obviously, is Farm Bill, getting a Farm Bill completed. Kansas has such a strong presence there with having Senator Roberts, Chairman Roberts of the Senate Ag Committee, being able to help head up the conference committee that's going to be meeting on September 5th. but then also Congressman Roger Marshall, who's been a strong ally for our ag industry, serving on the House Ag Committee, having their voices being able to help lead the way on the Farm Bill discussions, and knowing that the current Farm Bill expires September 30th, so we're reaching that point of sense of urgency that we need to get something done. And all indications are that that's going to happen, but certainly something that from an association standpoint we're going to be monitoring and working with, and actually taking a trip out to DC on September 11th, the week of September 11th, and having meetings to see where things are at in that process. Renegotiation of NAFTA, trade is something that we're very in tune with and very cognizant of because of the impact it's had and challenges that it's created. And so trying to see that NAFTA being renegotiated is something that's extremely exciting for not just wheat, but all of Kansas agriculture because of that strong partnership we need to have with Mexico. And so knowing that deal is getting done psychologically is a good thing. And that announcement was really significant. So we hope to see that get finalized and ratified by Congress in the next 90 days. The other thing that obviously that came out was the trade aid package, the announcement of the $12 billion trade aid package from a federal assistance to try to offset the negative impact that trade wars and tariff have had on the challenges that it's created from our marketing commodity prices for Kansas ag producers. And so that announcement coming out, knowing that the sign up will begin for corn, soybeans, sorghum, and wheat, and cotton farmers and hog farmers throughout the state of Kansas, September 4th, and that period will last from September 4th to January 15th. Obviously, that's not a silver bullet that's going to save farms, but it's at least a little bit of a Band-Aid to try to help us through these difficult times that we've been having to deal with because of these low commodity prices. And at the end of the day, we really want trade and not aid, but we appreciate our federal support to help our farmers at this time.
Okay. Well, Justin, this has been a great couple of days on the road with you with Indigo Wheat, and we really appreciate you coming out. For High Plains Journal, I'm Jennifer Latzke with Justin Gilpin, and for stories like this and more, please visit www.hpj.com. Thanks again, Justin.
Thank you.